Hello everyone. Today I'm presenting the second video on ameloblastoma, which is about the histopathology of ameloblastoma. In my previous video, I've covered introduction, classification, definition, history, pathogenesis, clinical features, and radiographic features. So you can go through the previous ameloblastoma video and you can note down all the points from there. This video is about the histopathology of ameloblastoma. So before I begin, I just want to say that if you like my videos, if you understand from it, and if it helps you get better marks, please do subscribe to my channel, do share it, do like, do comment and ask questions. I would be more than happy to help you. Moving on, now, the histopathology of ameloblastoma, there are six subtypes. Follicular, which is the most common, acanthomatous, second most common, granular cell, basal cell, desmoplastic, and plexiform. So, before we begin with these types, what I want to discuss with you all is the basic of the histopathology of ameloblastoma. Now, the tumor has two components, epithelial component and the stromal component or the connective tissue area. The epithelial component are disconnected islands, strands, and cords within the stroma. They could be of varying sizes and shapes. Now, the stromal component is moderately to densely collagenized. Budding growth patterns can be seen and islands can also be seen. And according to Kessler, they actually recapitulate various stages of enamel organ. Purely one histologic subtype can be present out of the six types which are discussed, or a mixture of these can also exist. For example, follicular type can exist with acanthomatous type. Now, in Reichert in 1995 discussed the prognostic implications based on the histologic subtypes for recurrence. Follicular stated 29.5%, plexiform 16.7%, acanthomatous 4.5%, desmoplastic also recurs. Now, under high magnification, darkly staining peripheral cells can be seen. These are composed of tall columnar cells with hyperchromatic nuclei. Now, what I'm discussing with you right now is the basic of the histopathology, that what are the type of cells which we seen. So, peripheral cells which you see are tall columnar ameloblast like cells. They are hyperchromatic, and you can see that it has a nucleus which is round to oval in shape, and nuclei of these adjacent cells, they are all in the same location within the cytoplasm, making it a palisaded appearance. Also, the palisaded nuclei are oriented away from the basement membrane. So suppose if this black arrow is pointing towards the basement membrane, then the nucleus is away from the membrane area, because of which it's creating a small vacuole. It is a clear vacuole that can be seen between the nucleus and the basement membrane. So, what are the things that we've read about these peripheral cells? The peripheral layer of tall columnar cells with hyperchromasia, which is hyperchromatic nucleus, reversal of polarity away from the basement membrane of the nuclei, and subnuclear vacuole formation. All of these mimic the normal embryologic development of the tooth bud at the stage of enamel matrix production. So basically, this paragraph is trying to tell us its resemblance to the tissue which we see during the development of tooth during enamel matrix production. So that is why this is an odontogenic tumor. It is using up the odontogenic apparatus. Now, all of these features about the basal cells, which I discussed with you all, they satisfy the Vicker and Gorlin criteria, which is the diagnostic criteria of ameloblastoma based on the studies of unicystic variant, although these criteria can be applied to the other variants also. Now, what do we see in the periphery? We saw tall columnar basal cells. We saw that the basal cells have a hyperchromatic nucleus. We saw that they were palisaded or in the same line, the nucleus. And we also saw that the polarization of the basal cell nuclei was there away from the basement membrane. Also, there was a cytoplasmic vacuolization of the basal cells. So, all of these criteria are important for a tumor to be formed. So, they are satisfying the Vickers and Gorlin criteria. Moving on to the follicular or the simple ameloblastoma, it is the most commonly encountered variant. It is composed of many small discrete islands of tumor composed of a peripheral layer of cuboidal or columnar cells which are which have polarized nucleus, and they resemble your ameloblasts. So they are ameloblast like cells. Now the central mass of polyhedral cells, they resemble stellate reticulum cells. So they are stellate reticulum like cells. It could be a follicular solid variant or the cystic variant. Now, what is the difference between the cystic one? Cystic has central cells which undergo cystic degeneration, and the peripheral cells become low cuboidal or squamous cell. So, I have a picture which will help you understand. Here you can see that there is a picture which is beautifully drawn here. It is showing the solid component wherein there are peripheral ameloblast like cells, and in the center there are stellate reticulum like cells. Here is a cystic component wherein his intrafollicular cyst formation is seen. This is the connective tissue stroma, also labeled out here. Now, this is ameloblast follicle, which is depicted out here. And both the cells, the peripheral tall columnar cells and the central stellate reticulum cells, have been pointed out here. So, you can appreciate this one follicle, which is being displayed out here. And I've tried to make you understand the both cell types present there. Now, this is another picture, histopath of ameloblastoma. Here, you can see central stellate reticulum. You can see this is development of tooth. Stellate reticulum is found here, and tall columnar ameloblast-like cells can be appreciated here. And these are ameloblasts in the development of tooth. Then we move on to the acanthomatous ameloblastoma. Now, what do you see? Cells occupying the position of the stellate reticulum undergo squamous metaplasia. The keratin formation in the central portion of the tumor islands is seen, and usually it occurs in the follicular type. So, what is actually happening in the acanthomatous ameloblastoma is that you see that these stellate reticulum like cells in the center, they undergo squamous metaplasia. What is squamous metaplasia? Conversion of stellate reticulum like cells to squamous cells. Okay, so metaplasia is conversion of one cell type to another. So stellate reticulum is changing into squamous cells, and they are actually forming keratin. So keratin can be appreciated out here, and this picture is actually showing you this one follicle. So in acanthomatous, it is the same thing as follicular, only that central cells are undergoing squamous metaplasia and they're forming keratin. Then the granular cell ameloblastoma, transformation of the cytoplasm of the stellate reticulum-like cells. It becomes coarse, granular, eosinophilic in appearance. This often extends to the peripheral columnar cuboidal cells. Now, why does this become granular? It is because of the presence of the lysosomal aggregates in the cells. It is an aggressive type, recurrence is marked, and it also metastasizes. So please note all of these points. They can be asked to you even in your viva. Now this is a picture of the granular cell ameloblastoma. Here you can appreciate that these cells have transformed into these granular cells. So stellate reticulum like cells have transformed into these granular cells. Here you can see. Now, basal cell type of ameloblastoma, it is very similar to the basal cell carcinoma. If you see the histopath of basal cell carcinoma and you see that of the basal cell ameloblastoma, they look very similar. It is the rarest of them all. Tumor cells are arranged in tabecular pattern or it could be in sheets. It is more primitive and less columnar cells can be appreciated in this tumor. This is the picture of the basaloid type. You can see that this follicle has transformation. The central cells are transforming into basaloid type of cells. Here is the picture how it looks in the slide sections. Desmoplastic ameloblastoma, it is found in dense collagen stroma which appears hyalinized and hypocellular. Thin strands and cords of epithelium can be appreciated. The central cells are scanty in these follicles or strands. Peripheral cells are flattened or cuboidal. Hyalinized or hypocellular structure can be seen. Kite tail like appearance is also appreciated. So please remember, in follicular ameloblastoma, you were seeing proper follicles. Here, you see structure which is kite tail in appearance, and it is thinned out from all the sides. Why? Because there is dense collagen stroma which is actually pushing it, and it is changing in its size, and it is becoming like those thin strands and cords of epithelium. There is a picture which will help you understand. Can you see this picture? Here, the follicles are not like round follicles. They have become thinned out, and cords can be appreciated and strands can be appreciated. So this is a picture wherein the histopath of desmoplastic ameloblastoma has been drawn. Moving on to the plexiform ameloblastoma. Ameloblast-like tumor cells are arranged in irregular masses, networks of interconnecting strands of cells. So, what is important out here? The keyword is interconnecting strands of cells. Each of these masses or strands is bounded by a layer of columnar cells, and between them are stellate reticulum like cells. But the stellate reticulum cells are less prominent in plexiform ameloblastoma. Cystic degeneration of the stroma is also very common. So, what they're trying to say in this is actually that instead of follicles, there are plexuses or interconnected strands or cords which are formed, and on the periphery of these cords are your tall columnar ameloblast like cells, and in the center are stellate reticulum like cells. And because they are thinned out, the stellate reticulum cells are a little less prominent. Here you can see this is the histopath of plexiform ameloblastoma. You can actually see plexuses or cords formed here, and they're very thin. They're not like follicular ameloblastoma. So this is a histopath diagram. You can appreciate it, and you can even draw it in your journals. So that's about it. That was histopathology of ameloblastoma. If you like our efforts, please do support us, like I said in the beginning, and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.